told you the secret to really believing in your services and how they can make an impact is focusing on how it makes you feel, in indulging and feeling proud of yourself, and feeling like a badass coach, and believing that you are the absolute shit. You're listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, a business and mindset coach who specializes in imposter syndrome. If you feel like you're not as smart, capable, or worthy as you actually are, and that someone is going to find you out, then you've come to the right place. I went from being a struggling government worker, working my coaching business on the side, but feeling unworthy and burnt out, to making multiple six figures helping women overcome imposter syndrome so they too can sign clients, make bank, and have the business or career of their dreams. I am nothing special. I have a stuttering disability, ADHD, and I struggle with anxiety and depression. So if I can learn how to feel good enough and overcome my inner imposter, then so can you. Let's dig in. Hi, my lovelies. Welcome back to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, business and mindset mentor and imposter syndrome expert. I help my clients overcome imposter syndrome so they can show up confidently and consistently and sign coaching clients and grow their business. And we are well on our way to 2023. And did you hit your goals this year? Yes? No? Well, if you didn't and you are listening to this podcast feeling as if imposter syndrome is the thing holding you back, I want to invite you to work with me for 6 months in private coaching. In 6 months of private coaching, I help you overcome the imposter syndrome and self-doubt that's holding you back. We work through my self-worth as a sales skill process so you can build solid, unshakable belief in yourself as a coach, in the services you offer and the transformation you can provide to someone, and in your overall mission and purpose in this industry. With this unshakable belief in all the important areas of your mindset and with the right aligned strategy, my clients sign coaching clients of their own and grow their businesses. So what are you waiting for? Book your sales call at the link in my show notes. You'll be able to book a time slot for January, and if you book your sales call for January, actually, I will honor my current rate of $8,000 for 6 months of coaching. Payment plans are available, but once January is up, my rates will be increasing. So hurry and go and book your sales call for January right now. And I am currently on holidays as you're listening to this. I went to Mexico last month and it was amazing. I was unplugged for the entire vacation. And right now I am in my Christmas holiday mode where I delete all my apps and take a nice long social media break. No Instagram, no TikTok, no Twitter, nothing. And I imagine that right now I am very bored, but it's something that I've been doing for the past couple years. And for us business owners who are online a lot and social media is our job, it's really nice to take a break. And I'm so grateful to have a thriving online business that I can take a break from. Not many people can say that. And I actually was checking out a coach recently that I was interested in. But you know what really fucking turned me off of this? She was on her phone during her entire vacation. Like, she was giving value and on Instagram stories and even on her laptop at some points. And I know that this sounds like a little cunty and a little judgmental, but I really want to be able to lead by example as a coach, and I expect my mentors to do the same. Like, I really want someone to be able to take a holiday without feeling like they need to show up and sell. And that honestly is like, that's just me. For all I know, though, she could be fucking thriving and, like, she doesn't need to show up. She just really wants to. But, like, I personally am like, girl, take your vacation. You deserve it. So, yeah, anyways, book a sales call at the link in my bio, and we'll get you in for January at my current rate of $8,000. Payment plans, of course, are available, but if you pay in full, you save $222. So as part of my self-worth as a sales skill process, I believe that when you have belief in yourself, belief in your services, and belief in what you're here to do for the world, aka your purpose or your mission, it is virtually impossible to not A, love what you do, and B, sell that shit to the world. Like, show up and fucking sell. That is the whole crux of my coaching and what clients come to me for. And today we're going to talk about believing in your services as a coach. Because again, it's not enough to just believe in yourself. Like, I believe that I can go pick up the groceries and put them away, but that doesn't have anything to do with me believing in myself as a coach with an identity of a coach. And to start with the obvious, but you may not think it's that obvious, you have to fucking believe in coaching, like as a whole, as an industry, etc. One of my newer clients is someone I've known for literally years. We're online friends and she's followed me for so long, done an NLP session with me back in the day. She purchased my book and she loved it. Oh, and by the way, did you know that I wrote a motherfucking book this year? You can buy it on Amazon. It's called You're Not Special and it's all about overcoming imposter syndrome and stepping into your worthiness. You can go to the link in my show notes to do that as well. So anyways, with this client, in one of our first sessions a couple months ago, we are on the topic of coaches in the industry, and she has a lot of things to say about this coach and that coach and the way that this coach is charging. And there was a lot of distaste and judgment and very strong fear of not wanting to ever be like other coaches. And like 2 years ago when I started making money, but it was very inconsistent, I definitely would have agreed with her, but not anymore because I refuse to bite the hand that feeds me. This industry is my industry. I am a coach and I am a part of the coaching industry. And so are you when you decide to call yourself a coach. And whatever opinions you have about the industry, I need you to remember some things. 1, if you market your business on Instagram or other social platforms, your bubble of what you think the industry is way smaller than you even realize. One of my past coaches, Stevie Wright, she recently hired a new mentor. And I clicked on her page and I was like, I've never fucking seen this woman in my life, but she's a 7-figure coach. How cool. And there are so many people in this industry making money and doing good work. And the fact that you've decided the industry is made up of a couple of coaches who you don't agree with is a little ridiculous, if I'm being cunty and honest today. Another thing is there will always be scammers and actual frauds. And by the way, if you think that you're a fraud, you're not. And people who are shitty. Like this is the same across the board though. It's not just this industry. My sister once went to a dermatologist as a teenager for her acne and she went on this like medication that he prescribed for her. And it turns out that this doctor was in malpractice and was illegally prescribing teenage girls this medication that was actually not helping them. He was a doctor that my sister thought she could trust and he turned out to be a literal quack. And does that mean all doctors are bad? Does this mean that we need to boycott doctors? Does this mean that our opinions on doctors can be chalked up to this fucking loser? Absolutely not. And the same thing goes for coaching too. You are a part of this industry and it is so much bigger than you even realize. Coaching is like a $14.2 billion industry as of 2022, and it is only getting bigger. It is also, I think I heard this on the Life Coach School podcast, but the host was saying that during the pandemic, coaching was one of like the top 5 industries that grew the most and was not affected, right? Like it's only getting bigger. And you need to understand that your negative outlook on the industry is not doing your imposter syndrome any favors. When you don't believe the validity or the legitimacy or the good of the very industry that you're in, you may experience a ton of cognitive dissonance, which is a conflict of opinion in your mind because you're trying to be a coach while simultaneously believing that coaching is shitty or not legitimate or that most coaches are scammers. So, step 1, believe in the industry. And next, it is so important for you to understand how necessary and important the work that you do is. I tell the story all the time about growing up in a home where mental health was not talked about, and if it was harshly criticized and judged, like those people were crazy. So in my home and in the media, it did not feel safe to A, have mental health issues, or B, have a job in the mental health field. Like the only reason my family accepted my psychology degrees was because education was a status symbol to them and they wanted me to become a psychiatrist. So when I became a coach, I had a lot of thoughts about coaching and how mental health wasn't important, that people didn't need my services or need coaching, that they were fun to have, but they weren't something that people necessarily needed. But I want you to think about your coaching as a small pebble you are throwing out into the ocean. Yes, you may be throwing something small, like you may just start working with one person, but the work that we do as coaches, that pebble is going to cause a ripple effect. Your coaching will impact how the client feels about themselves and in turn, how they interact with the people and the world around them. Imagine the impact you can make when you think about just one client and how your work can benefit their life and the people in their life in a myriad of ways. I still have clients who message me and say that the work we did created so much joy and change and amazingness for their lives, even after we stopped working together. this work of coaching stays with people and it has a ripple effect. So the next thing is to believe in your ripple effect. I always help my clients focus on the fact that they just need to learn how to help one person, because when you focus on that, 1 becomes 2 and 2 becomes 3, and then suddenly you're booked out and making a bigger impact than you ever imagined. But it has to start with 1, and it has to start with you believing that you can even impact them in the first place. And lastly, what if I told you the secret to really believing in your services and how they can make an impact is focusing on how it makes you feel, in indulging and feeling proud of yourself, and feeling like a badass coach, and believing that you are the absolute shit. What if that is the secret to making an impact? I think that sometimes this moral perfectionism can take over when we become coaches. We think we need to be these super moral, perfect people who are sensitive and kind and think about others and never trigger anyone and tiptoe around everyone's feelings. And that means you're a quote unquote good coach. And by good coach, I mean morally superior. But I can't make an impact on anyone when I dim my light. I can't spread my message and be a force in this industry if I am decentering myself as the conduit to that message. There is no Jillian Parrick coaching without Jillian Parrick, and this means taking up space. And when I focus on how good and fulfilling it feels to be a coach, when I focus on the results I get my clients and how they're obsessed with me and obsessed with the work that we do, it encourages me to create more content, to show up more powerfully, and to serve my audience and my clients even more. It is not selfish or self-centered of me to think about how my coaching positively impacts me and how having a coaching business is amazing for my life, because that only helps me. And it's the shame that I shouldn't feel that way that will actually cause me to not want to share my message. I have a client who thinks that she has enough, so she shouldn't want more, and this is blocking her from signing clients. So we're reworking this by having her lean into her desire, having her take away the shame and the guilt and let her feel fulfilled and satisfied and okay to have more than enough, because it only benefits the world when she does this. Your work is powerful, potent, important, and necessary. Coaching changes lives. It has the ability to transform someone's entire future. It is magic. And by living in that magic, you only create more of it. I've scaled my business to nearly $400,000 by living in the magic of coaching, y'all. Get on board the magic school bus with me. Okay? Okay. Book a sales call to work with me in 6 months of private coaching. We'll have our sales call in January, and I will honor the $8,000 rate if it's a good fit, but then my rates are increasing. So hop in now. The link is in my show notes to book your sales call. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week for the last episode of the year. Thanks for listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. Head to the show notes to find out how you can take this work deeper with me in one-to-one coaching or in the From Imposter to Empowered group program. In the show notes, you'll also find a free 3-day challenge to start the process of overcoming your inner imposter. And once you're done with all of that, screenshot this episode and share it on Instagram, tagging me at YourCoachJill so we can connect. See you next time.